Okay, good morning everyone. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera kepada tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, which basically means good morning and greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is not a very good day for me, and to tell you the truth, it's a terrible morning for me. I wake up to find that I have been banned on Twitter by those thin-skinned fascists who run the show, So, don't believe all the hype about fascists being these big, strong, macho men, They're all a bunch of thin-skinned pussies because they have banned me. And today was supposed to be close to a perfect day. I prepared all my lessons for the day. I was going to have a nice cup of coffee. And then I wake up this morning to find this egregious news that I have been banned on Twitter for some perverse reason. I simply cannot imagine why. I'm just an ordinary man who desires nothing more than to live an ordinary life, free of strife, doing whatever he thinks is best for him. I'm just an ordinary man in whose veins the milk of human kindness flows. Have you ever heard an insulting remark ever escape my lips? No, you see. And yet even I, a man cut from the same cloth as the Buddha, would be banned on Twitter because some of my truths are simply too painful for these fascists to bear. Anyway, I'll still be making content, but all my content will be on YouTube, okay? People keep saying Twitter is the future, Twitter is the future. Elon Musk is a free speech absolutist. But look, I get banned. A person like me who's the complete antithesis of a racist or an alt-righter, a guy who is anti-fascist, anti-capitalist, and basically I don't want to say anti-American, but I just want to say anti-bad taste. Right? A guy like me gets banned. But don't worry, I don't intend to come back on Twitter because I only wanted Twitter to serve as a springboard for people to get to my channel. It's more like an advertising outlet, if you will, for my channel. But look, a lot of people just judge me. They look at my tweets in isolation and they judge me based on those tweets. But you can't really know what I'm like. You can't really get to the heart of my subject matter unless you come to my YouTube channel, right? So those of you who have not yet subscribed, I would strongly encourage you to subscribe to my channel. Those of you who have already subscribed and are helping me to push towards 1.5K subscribers, 1,500 subscribers. Thank you very much for your support. Your support means the world to me, and I will continue to produce content to the best of my ability for you guys. So without further ado, enjoy this next video. I only came to know about my ban this morning. That's why I'm just telling you guys about it. I shot this video yesterday, but yeah, let's get cracking. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. I hope you're having an amazing day, because if you're having an amazing day, I'm having an amazing day. And if I'm having an amazing day, well, you should be having an amazing day. Right. But most people in Malaysia right now are not having an amazing day. At least those who are having buyer's remorse, who voted for Pakatan Harapan, who were hoping that this new government, so-called new government really, because from what we've seen, they're basically a rerun of the old government in liberal garb, right? To those of you who are not familiar with Malaysian politics, now Pakatan Harapan is basically the party that voted out the old regime, the Barisan Nasional regime, which is a far right-wing, crony capitalist party, that has ruled the country, or had ruled the country, for over 60 years, since 1957, right? And over their 60-year-long rule, Barisan Nasional did an awful job of ruling our country. But namely, they created a fragmented and corrupt Malaysia full of race-based policies and distrust among the racial communities, namely the three major races of Malay, Chinese, and Indian, because they were constantly race-baiting and gaslighting the rakyat, or the citizens, into thinking of one another as the enemy. And so, we knew that Pakatan Harapan, many of us were voting for Pakatan Harapan, knew. Pakatan Harapan means the party of hope, yeah. We knew that Harapan were not angels either, right? We knew that these guys were sock dems, or social democrats, if you want to call them that, Pakatan Harapan is basically a liberal social democrat party, right? But at least we were thinking that Pakatan Harapan would be the lesser of two evils, the less fascisty party, if you want to say fascisty. There's no such word as fascisty, but let's just say the less bad party between Barisan Nasional and Pakatan Harapan. Because ideally, I might be biased in saying so, because I myself am a member of the Socialist Party, right? But ideally, it should be the Socialist Party that's in charge, because, again, this may be my bias speaking, but the Socialist Party is the only party, really, that actually, sincerely, genuinely wants to do good for the people. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. Just look at their track record, right? But because socialism is very, very unpopular in Malaysia, the word socialism is very unpopular because we had what we call an emergency period, right? When there was a civil war, if you want to call it that, between the communists and the nationalists, right? The Malay nationalists, the equivalent of people like Chiang Kai-shek, right? And the nationalists won the civil war, and the communists lost and surrendered in 1989. But ever since then, Malaysia has been a rather reactionary country, with constant anti-communist propaganda. And it's really done a number, my countrymen, right? So we knew that the Socialist Party might win some seats, right? You can be a socialist, you can't be a communist, because the word socialist is considered a little less severe than the word communist. So if you identified yourself as a communist, then people would freak out. But if you identified yourself as a socialist, well, people probably wouldn't bat an eyelid, but they would. Well, I guess they would give you the side eye, right? Because they would think, isn't that just communism's gay cousin? But anyway, I'm digressing from the main point, right? So we knew that it was unrealistic for the Socialist Party, the only party that really gives a damn about the rakyat, as well as the rights of the LGBT community. But, we can't hope for miracles overnight, we understand. But little did we know that Pakatan Harapan, the party of hope, ironically, the hopeless, hopeful party, would end up throwing the rakyat, the people, under the bus, right? By collaborating with former members of UMNO. UMNO is the United Malays National Organization. It's a super racist party. And, right now, what Pakatan Harapan is doing is it is matriculating former members of the Barisan Nasional into their own ranks. And over time, they are making their reactionary stances very, very clear. Now, while they were waiting for our votes, or while they were campaigning for our votes, no, they were very, very careful with their words, not to sound too right-wing. But after they've got our votes, now that they've got our votes, they have bared their fangs. and they've basically exposed themselves for who they really are. Not a center-left party, but simply a right-wing party with liberal aesthetics, right? No different from the Democrats of America. No, most Americans with some sense, with common sense, know that the Democrats of America do not give a damn about the common man in America either, right? And it's the same over here, right? Pakatan Harapan is also an elitist, right-wing, and reactionary party that is, not as bad as Barisan Nasional, but only marginally better. But today, or rather it was yesterday, I think, that the DAP spokesman, DAP is the Democratic Action Party, the Social Democrat wing of Pakatan Harapan, Nga Koming, has come out with a statement saying that anyone who supports the LGBT agenda will be severely dealt with. Basically using the same kind of talking points that the fascists in Barisan Nasional, the previous regime, were using, you see. Now, it seems to me that Pakatan Harapan is gradually showing its fascist colors. Malaysians, when we were voting at the time, we were really stuck between a rock and a hard place, because we had to choose between an openly fascist party, the Barisan Nasional, which was openly fascist and had a track record of bad behavior for 60 years, or a party with a big question mark on it, And, the safest party to go with would of course be the Socialist Party, but you know how unpopular the Socialist Party is because of not because of their policies, but, well, you could say because of their policies, not because of their moral character, but simply because our country is still suffering with the hangover of colonial propaganda, colonial anti-communist propaganda. And the surrogates of the British, the Barisan Nasional, made sure to keep up the anti-communist rhetoric. So people would always fear communists rather than fearing the ruling class. Like Confucius said, an oppressive government is more to be feared than a tiger. So what if this oppressive government were to shift the blame to remove the resentment? And basically, instead of having the rakyat, the people, put the blame on the corrupt, greedy and rapacious crony capitalists running the show, why not put the blame on the communists instead, who are basically trying to create a more equal, a better Malaysia, right? So, anyway, that's it's a really upsetting turn of events, because we were hoping that Pakatan Harapan could at least be a stepping stone to better things, right? But as it turns out, they have proven to be just as bad as the Democrats in America, right? So there is no revolutionary potential in Pakatan Harapan. There is no hope with this party, right? But at the same time, I just want to say that, despite voting for Pakatan Harapan grudgingly, I disapprove of what the party I voted for is doing right now. As a Malaysian citizen, I just want to express my disapproval at this party's demonization of the LGBT community to draw the people's attention away from more pressing issues, right? And basically, I want to condemn also the party's, its reactionary stances in order to appeal to religious conservatives, which is a very stupid thing to do. Because if that's what they're trying to do, let's put it this way: the far-right religious conservatives in this country did not even like Barisan Nasional. Barisan Nasional were far to the right. In fact, they were so far to the right that they were Hitlery. They were even more Hitlery in some ways than the American Republican Party, because at least the American Republicans weren't actually praising Hitler openly, but the Barisan Nasional were praising Hitler openly. Yeah. So, you know, the Islamic religious extremists in this country regarded Barisan Nasional as being too far left. So what do you think? Do you think you're actually going to sway their votes if you appeal to them by demonizing the LGBT community or demonizing the communists or whatever? I'm not a communist, I'm a socialist, but I'm a Fabian socialist. But still, here's the point. Pakatan Harapan, do better. You know, we already have we had a lot of hope when we voted for you. We Malaysians had a lot of hope when we voted for you. And if you continue to take the people for granted and constantly sideline and discriminate against certain sections of the population, scapegoating them like a typical fascist does, we will retract our votes. It doesn't mean we're going to vote for PAS. It doesn't mean we're going to vote for Barisan Nasional. We will cop out of the system. We will take our assets, our property, and we will move to greener pastures. We will vote with our feet as a sign of our displeasure. So yeah, this is it. This is basically what I want to say, you know. I just want to say that I am not affiliated with Pakatan Harapan. I voted with them as the lesser of two evils, but I wasn't expecting them to be some revolutionary party that would bring any real change. But I'm very, very, very upset and very disappointed that, you know, they are going down the fascist route, right? They are basically Barisan Nasional 2.0. So if they want to redeem themselves, do better. Thank you.